We were talking earlier about how comic books influenced your book, Heart-Shaped Box. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, when I was working on the first draft of Heart-Shaped Box, I found myself rereading all the Alan Moore Swamp Things, and I had read them as a kid, not all of them, but I'd never read them straight through from a grown-up's perspective, and I was just completely blown away by the risks he was willing to take and what he was willing to put that character through. You know, I mean, Swampy does it all. He goes crazy. He grieves. He hates. He murders. He falls in love. He falls in love. He gets laid. You know, it's just he covers all the bases. And I kind of felt like it gave me permission to do whatever I wanted to do with the main character of Heart-Shaped Box. And also, you know, Alan Moore, as far as I know, has hardly ever been out of Northampton in England. But he had a vision of the South that was, you know, technicolor and grotesque and really fascinating. And in the course of my story, the hero winds up heading back to his hometown in Louisiana, and my version of Louisiana is Alan Moore's version of Louisiana. It's sort of that vision, and I sort of referenced it. I named the hero's hometown Moore's Corner, Louisiana, sort of as a reference to the Swamp Thing. So.
Awesome. And what was your inspiration for the book? I mean, it's a fairly original idea. A man buys a poltergeist, a suit with a poltergeist attached to it. What was the impetus for that?
No, it's not that original. It's out there. It's being done. You know, there's a very healthy market in occult objects online. You know, just as the book was coming out, I remember my wife pointed me to a woman who was selling a bracelet online that she said was possessed by the soul of of an angry witch. And my immediate thought about that was, you know, not who's selling that, but who would buy it. You know, who wants to bring the soul of an angry witch into their house? And, you know, and I saw just, I think it was just a few months ago, the government has this auction site where they sell, like, you know, ICBM nuclear missile silos to, like, anyone who wants to live in a missile silo. And they were selling a lighthouse. And in the report on the lighthouse, you know, they mentioned, you know, it's a ceiling needs work, you know, 100-year-old foundation haunted by a ghost. You know, and it's like very dry, bureaucratic language, but it's in there, and you know, I kind of love that.
Tell us a little bit about Locke Key.
I'm a comic books fan from way back, and I think that a lot of the best writers in fantasy and science fiction and horror are comic book writers first and foremost, or come out of that world, whether it's, you know, Alan Moore and you know, Neil Gaiman or Steve Niles, or more recently, you know, a writer like Brian K. Vaughan, who is, you know, I mean, Brian K. Vaughan is probably, you know, the best writer of his generation. I love that form. And I had done I had dabbled in it a little bit a few years ago, but I really wanted to have the chance to carry a series through across a course of several issues, and so that's what we're doing.
You've won 2 Bram Stoker awards already, and you're a really young guy. How does it feel to get these amazing, prestigious awards so early in your career?
Well, that's always really cool. I mean, anyone gives you something, you're like, that's great. But, you know, for me, what's more exciting is to have readers and you know, and to feel like when people read the stories, they're excited about them and want more, you know. So that's my turn on.
Dimension Films has optioned your comic, and that I see that Neil Jordan is going to be doing Heart-Shaped Box. And who do you see as playing Judas Coin in the movie?
You know, I don't really play the casting game, because I think that for the reader, it's more fun for them to imagine, you know, who they like as that person, you know, to form their own visual picture. And I also think, you know, someone like Neil Jordan, if Neil Jordan winds up doing the film, you know, he's a terrifically talented cinematic storyteller, and you know, he's gonna find someone right for the part. So I don't play the casting game.
So you're not going to have any input on it?
No. You know, I spent 2 years writing about Jude and Georgia and their ghost problem, and you know, and I told my version of the story, and so now I think that Neil Jordan has to go out and tell some version of the story that he cares about and that, you know, that excites him, you know, and so the best thing I can do is sort of stay out of the way. And I feel the same way about Locke Key. I think it's tremendous that Locke Key was optioned for film, and I think if it is a film, if they decide to make a franchise out of it, that there's some possibilities there to do something exciting, you know. But my goal is right now is to write some really good comics. You know, we've got the first 6 issues, and it's an enclosed story. In the fall, Locke Key is going to go monthly, and it's going to run monthly for 24 issues, and then the whole storyline will get wrapped up with the final graphic novel. And you know, and that's really my focus, and someone else can worry about the film.
Tell us a little bit about what Locke Key is all about.
Lock and Key is about 3 kids, a giant mansion called Key House, and some very old keys which can unlock a set of doors into the impossible. And you know, and magic keys are old fairy tale stuff. I mean, that's, you know, that kind of stuff is hundreds of years old. The doors in Key House, when they're unlocked, can transform the young. You know, if you can change your race, you can change your sex. You can find out what it's like to be older, and to me, I saw that as an opportunity to write about, you know, those formative years, those formative teenage years, when you still don't really know who you are, and, you know, when you're sort of trying on different faces, and so that's one of the things we're doing with Lock and Key. And then the other thing we're doing with Lock and Key is, you know, is trying to write, you know, a tense, scary story that will keep people coming back. There's a villain in Lock and Key, a creature called Dodge, which is sort of like Peter Pan gone horribly fucking wrong, and you know, Dodge takes the lost boys of the world and makes them bad, and Dodge is fun to write about, and by the end of the first 6 issues, Dodge is already working on his end game to open a door that shouldn't be opened. So I'm having fun with it.